Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hello, come on, guys, let's get out our petty tea. How is my royalty? But yeah, we're gonna. This. I'm still trying to think of what to call the theme of the education and my views, opinions, and thoughts of the whole education because teach substituting K through 12, volunteering with special education, and well, I volunteered in so many nonprofits, but also teaching K through 8 and being a professor for years at like two schools, community college and university. I have learned a lot about education, and it's really crazy how watching this video and then with that guy in Ohio, Vizfesh, or you know what? 1 minute, I need to know his name. Yeah, it's Vivek, the guy who's running in Ohio. Who I have thoughts, so many thoughts, and I've talked about this before. And yes, do I wish that I had an education introduction starter like I do for Dating Nightmares and Why Did I Break Up with Mr. No Heart and, what makes a villain, yada, yada, yeah. I wish I did, but they're all mixed up within the almost or maybe 550 episodes right now. What? Okay. But, anyways, I want to go into the subject because I've been wondering and thinking about this for years. And I know for a fact this is one reason why a lot of my coworkers didn't like me. Even at the university, he didn't like me because it was a virtual interview, and I told him I have a disability. On my paperwork, it says I have a disability, but they decided that they didn't want to listen. They hired me, saw me with that walker the first day. He ignored me, mocked me. Other professors came up to me telling me that he mocks how I walk in his office. Yeah. And even at the end of the semester, so many students eat like some, well, there were there were some colonizing students who all of a sudden they're so scared to talk to me. So then they turned around and talked to somebody, and it's like, but when I tried asking, like, why were you nervous to contact me? And I don't know, it's like you can tell some of the students who have never had a black educator or a black leader or just basically anyone black, especially in that city, because they get nervous just asking questions. But then when they ask a person who is a bigot to call me or whatever. Yeah. But then they call me, and next thing you know, they're laughing and smiling. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. It's like I was so nervous. Like, why were you nervous? And then they get real like it's silence, and I wait. I wait through the silence. Well, you're really nice in class and you're friendly, but yeah, basically. So, but anyway. Yeah, this is going to be I'm going to be talking about education probably on and off a lot because if you guys already know, like my yesterday's episode, I talked about how they are now taking away the professional like category or the title for nurses and then people with an MBA. Yeah, I have two masters, and one of them is with training, it's education and training. So I'm wondering, okay, are both of my masters now not professional? And part of me is like, how are they not professional? It's just, oh yeah, there's probably a siren in the background. Yeah. But it's like you have people who are trying to save lives mentally and physically because I believe even like the psychology or therapists and stuff are on the list too. And when it comes to businesses, it takes a lot of skill and thought and like research in order to know who you're selling to, how to balance the books and balance your budget. Who are you targeting first? And then with your demographic, what is their pattern of buying? With during the year, it's like where are the hot spots of when they're going to buy? And then are there differences in the districts of who buys your product, of what like taste or smell or color, or what's trending year by year. And it's like, should you have seasonal items as well as all year round? And the pricing, it's like, what should the price be? Where are you going to get the materials now that the tariffs are added? It's like, what should the price be? It's like, it takes so much experience and skill and learning and observing. And it how is it not professional? And when it comes to nursing, that is professional because I mean I can't, since I'm not a nurse, I can't like say all of the skills. But from a disability standpoint, yeah, this is going to be probably a 2 to 3 part because I wasn't even going to go through this, but I having a disability, and that's one thing I know, like, and I heard even from someone else because when I was looking at the list before I saw the other person mention how this really interferes with people who have disabilities, I was looking at the list and I'm like, I need, like, because with my disability, I need physical therapists and like blood drawn and just like a lot of things that most people maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, or like most of them they don't need to see a like physical therapist or anything like that, and or other specializations or different tests and analyzing or whatever. So they probably don't appreciate the skills and the knowledge that they have as a trade, as a not a trade, as a profession, as a job, as a career. We don't pay them enough. And then even speaking of that, like in order to learn this stuff, they had to learn it from educators. It's like now they want to even say like certain type like some teachers, it's not professional. How do you not get as professional as a teacher when you're teaching next generations? It's like if it wasn't for teachers, how many people would not be able to read or would not understand the algebra, trigonometry, calculus, or even understand the our unwhitewashed history? It's like teachers do not get enough credit. And I'm not saying that because of my education focus is being in the school. I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, the like vile, awful, terrible. Like I've seen it all. I've seen teachers who have a passion and a heart and they see they're doing it for the right ways. And then I've seen the teacher who they want summers off. I've seen it all. And so it's like this, I just wonder how many of these Republican people want to keep their seats? Because how, like, with the whole nursing thing, yeah, this is going to be more than a one-parter. But I'm going to save some of that for another whole episode and everything. But it's really think about all of the people all over the country, Republican and Democrats, are teachers and educators. They are nurses and healthcare specialists, therapists. I mean, like it or love it, if you're Republican and you don't like Democrat nurses or whatever, hey, it is what it is. We are what we like. So it's like in the classroom. I know there's a lot of Republicans who don't like Democrat teachers because they think, oh, they're gonna try to brainwash my child. Like that's how I think some of you guys do, especially at the churches. But I'm like, I'm never gonna brainwash. Like, and you know what? Yeah, I guess that's another episode because so many Republicans think we're just trying to brainwash your child. No, we try to show your child how to be themselves and their unique selves and not be scared of having to be like everybody else. Especially, I was teased and mocked and tormented all like K through 12. So it's like I try to have the kids' backs who are always teased. I've mentioned in other episodes where during my lunchtime, like with some of the students, if they wanted to do their homework in my classroom instead of being in the lunchroom with the bullies, I welcomed them. And or if they were behind on reading level or spelling or whatever, it's like there's like eat like I had students who took turns throughout the week. They would sit next to me while I was grading and they would read to me. I had other students who I had their spelling words. So when their turn came up, I would have the spelling words like taped on the computer. So while I'm like either grading or whatever, like when I work, I work. And when it came to the students, I love and adore. I want to see them do so much. But some of the teachers did not. If you've been listening, you already know. And I will say this. I'll probably, I'm going to start saying this over and over again. Being smart, learning, absorbing information, and enjoying reading and learning is not white. It's not for white people. Some people might be like, why are you asking that? That means you have a lot of catching up to do. But with my students, I did as much as I could to try to get them to learn. And with one of the first videos you're going to see as an example, she's like, sometimes it was horrifying with how much I kept seeing these students in front of the computers. But guess what class I taught? I taught technology, and I'm saying this. But it's like one of the biggest things, some people are like, oh, but she said, but yes, I did. With like, it got to a point where I was trying to teach both information and technology for job training type of things. I had middle schoolers until it's like I'm trying to show my students how to type without looking at the board or the keyboard. And they complained about that. They went and complained about that to the Miss Know It All person. And then some went to the principal, but the principal was like, so she's teaching you. That's her job. And like, because I remember she asked me about it later, and I'm like, do you know how many jobs? Like, if maybe they could be receptionists, or because a lot of them, they kept saying that they were going to work for fast food places. I'm trying to help them. Like, and I'm not like, I am thankful because, oh, yeah, there are some of my, like, I believe we need to raise the minimum wage, but I do know some amazing people who work fast food and everything. But I'm just saying, I was trying to at least widen their scope, widen their capabilities and everything like that. So when it came to typing and stuff, I wanted them to know how to type freehand and things. And also, it got to a point where with some of their other classes, it was interesting. So with some of the classes, I was able to type in their spelling words for the week. And so then they would start typing their spelling words with the freehand. So I tried mixing the classes together. And I would be looking up things for science and English. And it's like, well, I did history by myself solo because I taught about the apartheid and sit-ins and different things, and even like other different cultural things, which, yeah, some people are like, oh, look, DEI. Okay, it's like some people are like, all I want to know is American history, which to me is kind of ignorant, dumb, and stupid. And also, it's crazy how many other countries know more about American history than we do as Americans. And even with our American history, we only know the whitewashed versions. When I talk to people in other countries, they know. They know. It is crazy. I mean, they know the real history. They know the facts. They know the racism that bleeds throughout the veins of this country because of the history that we have had to go through. Oh, and before I forget, I just found out the oldest survivor of the Tulsa massacre just passed away. Rest in peace, you wonderful, amazing woman. And I am so sorry that you didn't get that money that you should, like, because yeah, that orange man supporting like judge, like he was appointed by the orange man or whatever. He denied them because he said it wasn't based off color. I want to know what history books. I don't want to know his resources. I want to know because see, this is why education can be a villain. Education can be a bully when it's whitewashed, when it's torn and like just frayed to the point where you're not really being taught the reality. You're being taught what they want you to think, what they like, you're being brainwashed. Because that's not facts, that's not reality, that's not what really happened. Okay. It was based off color. It was because it's like the colonizers went into that town because they saw that the black people were doing amazing, was doing great, and they hated it. They were jealous. There's so much more to that, but yeah, it's like one day I will get to that. One day. But maybe I'll create a candle in dedication. Maybe. And I hope she had a beautiful ending of her life and everything, you know. But we as a country should know more about what happened because, especially now that they're billing that the whites only town. And then so many white people are like, yeah, if black people did it, we would applaud them. Like, if they could successfully do it, but look at what they did to this and that. Like, okay, even though you see things from one side without knowing the full history, because, see, my ex and his family, it's like sometimes the way they would hint at or like, oh, you're not one of them. Oh, well, the policeman, he didn't like follow you because you're black. He followed you because you're pretty. And oh, there's no more racism, or but you only got that job because you're black. That's the only one. Like, but then when I show that I have the education and I have the experience and the skills and the creativity and everything. But no, I could have only gotten the job because I'm black. Yeah. But when it comes to even what happened in the inner cities and the massacres and the Jim Crow and the segregation and the strange fruit on the trees and like, oh, and also the creation of the expressways. There's so many things that colonizers, especially, they don't want to know. They want to be able to live in racism. They want to be able to be bullies and be mean and be hypocritical and awful, terrible, heartless, despicable human beings. That's all they thrive to be. That's their only type. That's their only talent. Haters only know how to hate. Haters don't know how to open their minds to investigate, explore, and learn, absorb new information to grow empathy. And I just read somewhere, I think it was in an article, how the more empathy you have normally shows how much intelligence you have. And some people are like, oh, well, what about these billionaires? Oh, yeah, they're really smart. No, no, no. When you're sometimes when you are born from rich parents, that doesn't mean you're smart. Money, when people say money doesn't buy happiness, well, it may not buy happiness, but You don't have to worry about sleeping in your car or if the mortgage is going to be paid. So, one of the videos in how a lot of the upper class private schools is like the way they use technology is for training, is for like when I say you don't have to be rich. I know a lot of smart people who are not rich, but then it's really funny because, okay, going to be going into my dating profile because a lot of men do not realize why I have the standards of you must be able to have a full conversation, but also that you must have either a degree, a certification, or a trade separate. And the only reason I have that is because, or with the degree portion or higher education, is because most men with a high school diploma, once they find out my degrees in education, certifications, and everything like that, they get upset. They get mad. They downgrade me. They put me down to the point where it's just like, why are you dating me? Okay, you don't, it's like, it just sounds like you don't like anything about me, and or you really don't want me to strive and be successful. So why am I going to date you? But then a lot of those men, they see the be able to have a full conversation and they show how unintelligent they are because they're like, I have a high school diploma and I can have a full conversation. I know how to talk. I was like, see, that's how dumb you are. Um, well, they're separate. They're separate. So that means one can be true, but not the other. They're separate. So, yeah, I know what I was doing when I did it. Because I know some men who went to college, but some of them only remembered what was going to be on the test. They're not smart. They're just good at memorizing things in order to get to the next level. Okay. It's like there's a difference. And so, yeah, those same men, some men with degrees, because even while teaching, and I'm seeing like the way technology was expanding, like some of the students that I taught in college, they would show me how they were passing their tests. And they would be like, yeah, all I have to do is remember this, and this. I don't have to read the whole book. I just need to kind of just remember these key words. So, yeah, I don't really need to study. I don't really need to put much effort in it. And that's why a lot of those kids hated my class. Because I made you think. I made you have to, like, you had to work. And so that separated my students who are smart from those who are just able to get by from memory, from memorizing keywords. And so that's when, like, when I teach in a different way, which is why, especially when I taught the middle schoolers, teachers would tell them, oh, don't let Miss mess you up because, yeah, you don't want to turn white, do you? That's why I mentioned it earlier. Do you know how many teachers would tell my students that I'm trying to turn them white? No, I'm trying to get them ready for the world. I want them to be able to, if they want to go to college, community college, university, whatever, if they want to get a trade or a certification so that they can get, a salary paying job. Yes, that's what I want. My goal is to make them achieve and to soar. That's what I want them to do. But do you know how many teachers? Yeah. Do you know? Because even with my first graders, it was pretty disgusting and sad how some of the teachers on the elementary side, like, they were on the computer so much, so often. And again, I teach technology, but it's like I tried when I teach technology, like, okay, well, yeah, I'm going to go back to my middle schoolers real quick and my elementary. I had my garden. I started off with my first graders my first year at the school, but then when I taught on the middle school side, the net like the second and, or the my second and third year and fourth year, yeah, is like my middle schoolers. Some of them got jealous because they're like, we want a garden too. And so I'm like, okay. So I had a middle school and an elementary garden stuff. And the middle schoolers, they were learning teamwork, and it was amazing. They're like, "Oh, how's the elementary school soil? You want me to like water those too?" Partnership, caring, empathy, and oh, what kind of flowers are these? I started writing them on the board, and I'm like, do research, look them up. Maybe we can do a project on that too. And some of the students were looking them up, doing research. So while I'm teaching them how to type, I am also teaching them how to look things up and how to like expand upon their research. Why does this butterfly have this color wing and this one has that? Look it up. And why do these butterflies like these flowers, but then these other butterflies like these others? Look it up. And it's just really funny because sometimes when my middle schoolers would say things, after a while, some of the students would be like, look it up, because I want to, like, okay, you want to know this? I want you to find out. I want you to dig into this information. I want you to learn how to look things up and expand. Because when you get to high school, I want you to, like, when it's time to start writing papers, what questions to ask? What are the options to write about? What questions do you think your readers are going to have about the topic? That's the kind of things I try to do, but I kept having teachers saying, "Oh, she's trying to turn you white." What? No. Everybody should be able to learn. Everyone should be able to be as smart as they want to be. It's like them being capable and able is for everybody. I don't care what nationality, race, creed, or what, I don't care. And I don't care how old you are, because even when I taught like community college and everything, I had, yeah, I still had a few of my students were in high school when they were in my class. And those, like, I remember like after my first time having that situation, like at the beginning of the semester, I'm like, okay, do I have anyone under 18? Because I'm like, if you're under 18, then I will not have anything about, let's see, even an alcoholic beverage, because sometimes I would show the advertising for the or even when it came to restaurants, I would have some restaurants that had a bar menu. And so it's like, but yeah, I was like, okay, now like we're only doing version drinks with this advertisement. Don't include, like whatever. And so, and sometimes my students, they would, like, it would be really cute when they come in. I'm 20, like the weekend after their birthday, I'm officially 21. And so it's like I high five them and everything like that. So, and sometimes they would tell me, they're like, yeah, I had my first drink, and they would tell me about the experience. And I'm like, oh, and so then I'm like, okay, does anybody know about your first drink? They're like, no. I'm like, okay. Guys, it's going to be your job to since you guys have all, because I rotate everybody who works with everybody, so I want everybody to get to know everybody. That's how I am. It's like we learn as a community. So I'm like, okay, everyone's going to split up in groups, and you guys, based off of what all of you guys know about this person, this student, you guys are going to research and create what drink you think they did have and what drink you think they should have. And you're going to create a commercial based off of it. That's the kind of stuff I did. But okay, I'm out of time. Thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too.